It's very painful to holding yourself to that stage. You know, you take this promise that you will never give yourself to any man except your husband, and someone from nowhere who don't even deserve it happens to do such things to you. It's very painful, honestly speaking. And it's very hard to bear in mind. Always I used to think about it. I lost my virginity. I got pregnant out of it, and I did all my pregnancy with crying. It's very hard because I will see my mates going to school, they are into something else.
Similar to the global prevalence rate, around 1 in 3 women in the Gambia have gone through sexual or physical violence during their lifetime.
I was a very stubborn child. My parents would always call him if I was disturbing or if I was, not behaving like I'm supposed to punish me. So that's how he had access to having me alone in the room, to molesting me.
I was abused when I was 10 years old, and I've been raped twice, and they've attempted to rape me before by a close family. And yeah, I've been through sexual violence, of course.
We will speak up. We will speak up. We will speak up. We will speak up. No to rape. No to rape. No to sexual harassment. No to sexual harassment. My body, my choice.
Our bodies is our bodies.
Our bodies is our bodies.
Our truth is our truth.
Our truth is our truth.
We are coming for you.
We are coming for you.
One by one.
One by one.
The Gambia's close-knit and patriarchal society makes it particularly difficult for survivors to speak up about sexual and gender-based violence, especially rape. The majority of these horrendous acts are perpetrated by people close to the victims, mostly by their family members whom the victim trusts.
Sexual and gender-based violence are offenses that are really affecting women and girls.
The cases are increasing currently. We are having more reported cases of sexual and gender-based violence in the Gambia, especially sexual violence.
I think because of the program that we have put in place, this is the reason why people are now coming out to report.
I can tell you that not a week goes by without the ministry receiving a case of sexual violence. And because of that, we are now part of a network of stakeholders that are all involved in this work.
Despite many efforts, sexual and gender-based violence remain a problem in the Gambia. The Gambian society has become increasingly adept at normalizing abuse, making it very difficult for women and girls to recognize when they have been abused.
People normalizing intimate partner violence because from our homes, we've been taught that it's normal for you to get married and a man beats you up.
Sometimes a mother will say, we dare not to talk about it because these are issues that are going to tarnish the image of our family. This is going to be a family stigma forever.
In March 2019, the government of the Gambia launched a joint rule of law project in partnership with UNDP, UNICEF and UNFPA with support from the Peace Building Fund. This project focused on building community access to justice, community policing, and effective response to sexual and gender-based violence. It is all part of a larger effort to strengthen systems to respond to and manage cases of sexual and gender-based violence using a survivor-centered approach.
This particular program, I think, has shown that it's not just necessarily about 3 agencies, UNDP, UNFPA, and UNICEF, bringing their comparative advantages and their know-how to the table. It's how the integration of our capabilities has a cumulative effect so that the support that we provide to our national counterparts, in this particular case, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, and other counterparts as well, such as the Ministry of Justice, we bring to them a all-hands-on-deck approach.
Specifically, in the last 3 years, I'm so proud that we have really stepped up the work to end gender-based violence in the Gambia.
So we've been working very closely to also make sure that the judiciary that is responsible to addressing those cases are very well equipped, because if they are not equipped and in terms of knowledge, in terms of empathy, sometimes you can see victims who would not even dare to go to the tribunal or to even local authorities to talk about their cases.
Because of the high rate of sexual violence cases, we now have a sexual and gender-based violence unit in the Ministry of Justice.
It's a unit that is made up of different individuals from the Ministry of Justice, from the police, from the Department of Social Welfare. And this is to make sure that these cases, once they get to the ministry, they are fast-tracked.
The Gambia government has helped protect the rights of women and children by enacting laws such as the Women's Act, Sexual Offences Act, and the Children's Act, creating the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, as well as establishing a children's court in Carnifing and other key locations. Moreover, the UN system has collaborated with other stakeholders to develop one-stop centers and SGBV shelters, which have been immensely helpful in catering for the needs of sexual and gender-based violence victims and survivors.
We all know that during the COVID-19 lockdown, gender-based violence had been increasing all around the world, and the Gambia was one of them. This is why we opened the Orange Center in Bakote to address the issue of gender-based violence. The Orange Center is where women and girls who have been victims of gender-based violence can find shelter, learn to be supportive to themselves, and learn skills for their economic empowerment.
In June 2020, a sexual and gender-based violence helpline was established as part of the official launch of the 2020 State of World Population. The UN-supported helpline serves as a vital component of the UN support for the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare under the UN Multi-Partner Trust Fund. It provides assistance to victims and survivors of violence, including those who have been raped, abused, or assaulted.
When we receive calls, we listen to the survivors, we listen to their complaints, and then we offer them psychosocial support.
The UN system continues to support legislative reform, strengthening the health system, enhancing the judiciary and community response to SGBV through capacity building trainings, as well as supporting with equipment for effective service delivery.
UNICEF, in collaboration with the judiciary, sometimes do conduct trainings in order to capacitize the officers of the Children's Court.
UN system has been in forefront, helping the network and the hospital, my hospital in particular, to make sure that the service of SGBV go forward.
Part of the support that we received from UNDP was to provide training for traditional communicators. Our training with traditional communicators was around sexual violence, but also encouraging women to take part in the TRRC.
We police are doing all what we can to either end or diminish sexual gender-based violence, and then I think we will get these things clearly when we have a specialized court dealing with sexual gender-based violence, so that then there will be swift address to cases of sexual gender-based violence in a timely manner. And then secondly, if we are able to get the support from the community level, because we know our culture does not have room for talking issues of sexual gender-based violence, I think we should catch them young and then go directly to the community level, and then so that then they will be able to understand what are some of the consequences, the short term, the long term, and then the middle term consequences of victims that suffered from sexual gender-based violence. Then they should be able to give their support to the police to effectively and efficiently prosecute those cases. If you hear any case of sexual gender-based violence, whether it has happened or it is about to happen, because we are all in this together, we need to fight it. We need to speak out, and in doing so, go to the nearest police station and then give us those information. Be guaranteed that your identity, your life, or whatsoever that you think it is you are fearing of is protected.
We've been also engaging with with the police, female police network that we've been supporting very closely, so that even for the future police station that we are being designed, we have specific gender desk, so that when a woman or even family member, because it's not only the victim that has to come and speak up, you know, the Maputo Protocol, which is a protocol related to end discrimination and women's including gender-based violence for the African Charter for Peoples and Human Rights, clearly state that if somebody is victim around you, whether you are a sister or a brother, you can go and report it. Because for a long time, a woman who has been abused is already under trauma. To ask for the same woman to go and address the shame and go and speak up, it has been always a challenge.
Now more than ever, it is very vital that we put in collective efforts as a people and as a country to end the culture of sexual and gender-based violence in the Gambia. With the available resources and services that we have in the country right now, we should be more proactive in reporting cases of sexual and gender-based violence in the Gambia, such as child marriage, sexual abuse, female genital mutilation, to ensure that perpetrators of these acts are held accountable.
We at the UN firmly believe that working together, bringing all of our comparative advantages to bear, supporting national governments, we can really make an impact and a lasting difference for the lives of Gambians, particularly girls and women who are victims of sexual and gender-based violence.
Victims and survivors can report cases of SGBV by contacting these numbers.